NBA fans, what's going on? Welcome into NBA Now from Chat Sports. And today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. Dad's Day, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Manscaped is hooking you up with a sweet deal. We'll tell you more all about their products later in today's show. But first, I want to start off with some news about the NBA. Adam Silver has decided that players who decide to sit out in Orlando will not be punished for skipping those games. Now, they'll lose about 1.08% of their pay, which is really nothing, just a little drop in the bucket for them. They're not going to be losing a whole lot of pay just because they are going to be missing some games, but no real harsh punishments coming down on those players. Now, June 24th is the deadline that Silver has set. He said, hey, if you're going to sit out in Orlando, that's fine, but you got to let your teams know by June 24th. That is a week from today. So hopefully we'll be getting some news in here pretty soon coming in on guys who won't be playing when the season rolls back around. Now, players who are at a higher risk for contracting the virus, guys that have a weaker immune system, will be excused from those games. They get the excused absence, but some guys just want to sit out because of some of the social injustice going on in our country right now. And one of those guys is Vice President of the NBA Players Association. It's Kyrie Irving. He said, look, resuming play right now would just be a distraction from everything that's going on around the world and around the country. And really, he thinks that players shouldn't go back to Orlando right now. He held a conference call earlier this week with a bunch of players saying, maybe we should sit out. Why don't we think about sitting out? And the latest report, the newest report, is that Kyrie Irving even said to his own teammates, hey, guys, we can create our own league. We can go out and do our own thing. Now, his own teammates have said, nah, that's a bunch of BS. That's not actually happening. But a Kyrie Irving-led league might be kind of interesting. I don't know if I'd watch, but I'd rather be watching the NBA personally. Now, two other guys that are with Kyrie, and they've said, hey, we stand with him, and we're actually considering maybe not even playing ourselves until we see some real change around the NBA, are two Lakers players, Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard. Now, Avery Bradley this year has been pretty good, averaging 8.6 points per game, two rebounds and one assist. And, you know, he's been a pretty good three-point shooter as well, a good three-point shooter from the corner and a good defender on the ball. Dwight Howard, on the other hand, came in and he's been doing a lot of good things for the Lakers as well, coming off the bench, but playing more minutes than their starter, JaVale McGee, and averaging 7 and 7 and 73% from around the rim. Now, let's say Avery Bradley goes, I'm not coming to Orlando. I don't want to play. I want to sit out until I see some real change in this country. Well, then the Lakers starting five is a little bit different. You just run LeBron James at the point and then Danny Green in the backcourt. And I think here you got to slide Kyle Kuzma into that starting small forward role. Now, they also have a guy like Markieff Morris, but he plays more of the power forward position. And then JaVale and AD up front. But another guy they're losing in this scenario, if he decides he wants to sit out as well, is Dwight Howard. And when you look at LA's big men, they've got some good depth. They've got Anthony Davis, a top 5 player in the league, I believe. JaVale McGee is their starting center. Then you got Dwight, Kyle Kuzma, and Markieff Morris. Now, I say a lot of good big men, but you don't see a lot of good centers in that lineup. Anthony Davis can play the center position, sure. JaVale McGee is the starter, but if Dwight's out, Kyle Kuzma and Markieff Morris aren't going to be guarding other centers in the NBA. So this is a big hit that the Lakers could take if they lose both Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard. But I really do think there's a real chance that some of these players sit out and they say, you know, we want to see some change, or maybe they're scared of contracting the virus, whatever it may be. They could go ahead and sit out and take some time off, even more time off when the season returns in Orlando. But do you think there's going to be any players that actually skip games when it comes around? We got to know, again, a week from today, June 24th, we'll know whether or not players are skipping. So type Y if you think there are going to be some skipping. Type in if you're like, nah, they're fine. Everyone's going to play. Let me know in the comment section below. At the top of our today's show, I mentioned that today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, and they're doing some amazing things and putting out some of the best products on the market right now for all of your men's grooming. So when you go to manscaped.com/chat, you're going to get 20% off the Lawnmower 3.0 and free shipping. Everyone loves free shipping. And guys, don't forget, it's Father's Day. It's coming up. You want to get him a gift? This is the best gift you can get him. I promise you. I'm a big fan of Manscaped. And like they like to tell you, your balls will thank you when you order from Manscaped. That's manscaped.com/chat, 20% off plus free shipping. You're not going to find a better deal on the internet right now. Let's talk about CP3 of the Oklahoma City Thunder, but could he be going to the New York Knicks? Well, Bleacher Report put out a recent hypothetical trade saying, look, if OKC wants to get off of this contract, the Knicks are a team that could look to take on Chris Paul. He still has 2 years $88 million left. I had to lean in and double check that number because that is a lot of money for an aging point guard. But here's the thing about Chris Paul. I've watched a lot of Oklahoma City Thunder basketball this year, and I can tell you what, CP3 is leading that team to victory night in and night out. One of the most clutch point guards in the league. But here's the trade scenario. The Knicks get Chris Paul. They get their point guard. They finally get a guy who can run the offense that's not named Frank Ntilikina or Dennis Smith Jr. or Elfrid Payton. And on the other hand, the Oklahoma City Thunder get 3 really young players and 3 guys that can produce right now in Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, Dennis Smith Jr., who is definitely a project, but since OKC has a lot of guards, not a big deal. And they also get a first-round pick in this scenario, which Oklahoma City has like every pick in every first round for the next 20 years. But they get the Clippers' first-round pick this year, which would be near the end of the first round. Now, the Knicks, like I said, are getting a great point guard here. Chris Paul, yes, he's aging. Yes, he's got a lot of money left on that deal. But this year with the Thunder, he's having a revival. 17.7 points per game, 6.8 assists, nearly 5 rebounds, and shooting a little better than 36% from 3. I've really, really loved what I've seen from Chris Paul in Oklahoma City. I think he's going to do a lot of damage wherever he plays next year as well. And he's still a good player. It's a lot of money, but if you're the Knicks, you need a star. You need someone that can lead a team to victory. And I think that's why New York should go ahead and make this call and say, look, we'll take on that Chris Paul contract. But who do you think should trade for CP3? Because I think it's inevitable. I don't think the Thunder are going to hold on to him. They've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They've got Dennis Schroder. They don't need Chris Paul anymore. He's already kind of built up that young guard depth. So what team should trade for Chris Paul? Let me know in the comment section below. Now the Thunder, on the other hand, get these 3 guys: Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, and DSJ. Now, Julius Randle putting up big numbers, but he's kind of been a selfish player in New York. Bobby Portis comes off the bench. He is a really good forward. I don't understand why he signed with New York, because I think he has a lot of good opportunity elsewhere to play a lot more minutes. But Dennis Smith Jr., he's a project. You still have to build him back up. Since leaving the Mavericks, he has just been an absolute mess. But if this is what the Thunder get, this is what their starting 5 could look like. You've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander now running the full-time point guard position, which is, I think, what needs to happen, because SGA is going to be a special talent in this league for a long time. Dennis Schroder can start at the 2 guard. He's been playing the 2 guard a lot this year. And Luguentz Dort, now he's on a 2-way contract, but they're probably going to turn that into a full-time contract. And you go Steven Adams and Julius Randle at the 4. The reason I don't have Gallinari in here is because he is a free agent, and you could just slip in Randle right there at that starting power forward position. This is a fun, young starting lineup in Oklahoma City. Now, the Knicks, on the other hand, they've got a brand new team. You got CP3 running the point. You've got a second-year guy next year in RJ Barrett. Kevin Knox, a third-year guy. Mitchell Robinson, another young player. And then I'm leaving a space open here for the Knicks because they're going to have a top 5, top 10 pick in this next year's draft. And they said they want a big man that can shoot. Cough, cough, Kristaps Porzingis. But all I'm saying is they're going to fill in that forward position somewhere with a first-round pick, and maybe CP3 can be the start of a really good rebuild in New York City finally, and they can finally gain some traction and get back into the playoff race. Now, the biggest question with this trade is there's a winner and there's a loser. So who wins this trade? I want you to type OKC if you think it's the Thunder, type NYK if you think it's the Knicks. And really, I think this is a win-win scenario. But if I'm going to lean one way or the other, I'm going to say the Thunder come out on top of this trade. You get 2 young power forwards in Bobby Portis and Julius Randle with Danilo Gallinari leaving. You get a project in Dennis Smith Jr. who doesn't have to succeed right away. And you get a first-round pick. And you get off of $88 million of Chris Paul. But I do think the Knicks would be winners as well in this situation. Now let's go to the Ball brothers. Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball, and LiAngelo Ball have all decided they're going to sign with Rock Nation as their newest representatives. And really, the most notable one right now is Lonzo Ball, because he's finally been living up to that potential with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's been a really solid player, and he was formerly represented by CAA and the Big Baller brand, of course, but both of those fell through, and he decides, hey, I'm going to go sign with Rock Nation. Now, Rock Nation definitely gets a win in this scenario because they get 2 really talented guys in Lonzo Ball and LaMelo Ball. And then there's LiAngelo, of course, who's been playing with the Oklahoma City Blue. But here's the thing, guys. On this channel, we've made a rule, and I already broke it, but you can't say Jello in the comment section below. You just can't say it. We've made that rule a long time ago when he didn't get drafted, and we're sticking to it today. So you cannot say it no matter what. Now, before I break down this signing with Rock Nation a little bit more, I want to remind you to go check out Manscaped. You get the perfect package for 20% off when you go to manscaped.com/chat, and it's free shipping as well. Trust me, guys, with Father's Day rolling around, and even for yourselves, now that it's summertime, you're going to want to be able to clean it up and clean it up cheaply with Manscaped. It is the best product you can find. Trust me, men, your balls will thank you. Go pick up the Lawnmower 3.0 for 20% off plus free shipping when you go to manscaped.com/chat. It's just that easy. Go type it in to your browser right now. Let's talk a little bit more about the Ball brothers here going to Rock Nation, because it's a pretty big deal for Rock Nation and for the Ball brothers as well. Now, Lonzo this year has been really good for the Pelicans, 12.4 points per game, 7 assists and 6 rebounds. He's getting close to being a triple-double threat almost regularly, and his three-point shot looks a lot better as well, 38.3% from three, and his mechanics are finally coming around. But the best thing is that Rock Nation gets three more talented, well, I guess I should say two more talented, because you can't say that third Ball brother's name, but Rock Nation gets to add him onto this list of guys. You've got Kyrie Irving, one of the top point guards in the league, even though he's hurt a lot, but he's still one of their elite athletes. Karis LeVert is a young guy who's definitely developing really well. Markelle Fultz has finally come around now that he's with the Orlando Magic. Spencer Dinwiddie, another member of the Brooklyn Nets, is also a member of Rock Nation. And Justice Winslow of the Memphis Grizzlies, who I think is still really talented, still's got a long way to go. But another win here is LaMelo Ball. I mean, this kid is coming in. I have him as a top 3 prospect in this year's draft. I have him as the best point guard in this year's draft. And now that he's with Rock Nation, he can go there and really be the face of this brand and the face of this agency. Look, I love his size. I think he's got excellent court vision. I think he's going to be a pretty good shooter. Look, his size and his ability to see the floor as a point guard is going to translate so well. And Rock Nation is going to be really happy that they signed him. Right now, I've got him as the number 3 prospect in this year's draft. I've got James Wiseman and Anthony Edwards just a little bit ahead of him, but I think he's right on their tail. In fact, I'm considering switching up my big board. I've probably got a new big board here coming pretty soon, but I think I might go LaMelo Ball 2 and James Wiseman 3. So you got to see there might be a brand new number 1. But this is all about Rock Nation, who they're getting. They've got 2 really talented Ball brothers. So who will be the better Ball brother in the NBA? I want you to type Melo for LaMelo Ball. I want you to type Zoe if you think it's Lonzo Ball. And then there's that third Ball brother that we don't talk about here on this channel. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.